Hello, Christine here at the craft table. Today is one of those days of reckonings where I have pulled out every single whip I have, old and new, and I'm going to share them, give myself some accountability, and yeah, it's a lot for me, not a lot compared to some people that I've seen, but anyhow, let's just get into it. I'll show you what I've been working on. First off is a very recent whip. Well, it's a very long-term project, but I just got back to it, I'd say in the last couple weeks, and have been working on it slowly. This is the culmination of the 12-month mal with Judy at Judy's Creations in Crochet. She is a YouTube channel in Canada, and she hosts these fun monthly make-alongs where you can knit something, crochet something, anything to do with fiber arts, I think. Dye yarn, if you dye yarn. And she gives you a picture every month for your inspiration as far as the colors to use. And last year was all about birds. Tropical birds, so we had some very bright colors, and this year it's all about butterflies. I haven't been able to participate that much this year, I think once so far. Hopefully I will get caught up on all these projects so I can start participating in more of the crochet alongs and make alongs going on, because I love them. I just am a little bit out of hand right now as far as projects. So here is what I've been doing with these squares. What I did for Judy's mal was create a granny square for each month of the year. And I did a video for every one of those if you want to check them out. But this is what I wanted to do with them, is sew them all together in a blanket. So you'll see for the most part they are held together with stitch markers right now. But these are the 12 squares. So it's kind of a wild blanket, but it's probably one of the wildest things I've ever done. But I said this is what I was going to do, and so this is what I'm doing. And I had already trimmed every one of the squares in black, so when it came to deciding what color to join them with, I just thought black was going to work out best, because then you wouldn't see my join and you could just focus on the squares. So what I've done so far is just the stitches going across. I am doing the ladder stitch so that it's not noticeable at all. And you'll see some of the spaces in between the squares are different widths, because my squares were slightly different sizes. So the first thing I had to do was make sure they were all the same number of stitches on every side, and then make sure they were close enough in size to put together and not get all wonky, you know, just because there's a couple of them that were huge, like this one and another one were 11.5-inch squares. Let's see, this one. And then the smallest was, I think, 10-inch. There were about 4 that were just 10 inches. So that was quite a difference. Even if they were the right stitch count, they were still that different in size. I guess, well, there was one time when I used a different, for the most part I used a 4.5mm crochet hook, but there was one time I guess I got confused, and one month I used a 5mm, and that was probably one of my big squares. I can't remember. But I also use scrap yarn. So some yarns are a lot bulkier, even though they were all 4-weight medium size yarns. You still get a lot of variation between brands. you know, you have Loops and Threads soft acrylic, which is super, what's the word? Bulky? It's not bulky weight, but it's bulky for a 4 weight. It's very, has a lot of substance to it. And then you get Big Twist, which is probably about the thinnest 4 weight I used. I probably have some Karen Simply Soft in here too, which is pretty thin. So anyway, it's a hodgepodge of yarns, which I think also contributed to the size of the, well, probably the stitch patterns too. That's one of the big ones, and it's all granny stitch. So I think that made it kind of big. Anyway, I ended up having to put some extra rounds around the 10-inch squares to bring them up to about 10 3/4. This was one of the smaller squares. So I put 2 more rounds around that, just single crochet, to get it up to 10 3/4 size. So that, yeah, I think it'll come together nicely size-wise. Again, I'm not not sure about the entire look. It's gonna have to go to somebody who loves color. I might, after I do a nice black border around the edges, the outside edges, I might put in a row or 2 of one color. What color do you think I should use? I'm thinking of the aqua color, just to give it a little more cohesiveness. I have that aqua color, or peacock, I don't know what you want to call it, in several of the squares. So I thought that might bring it together. Either that or maybe yellow. We'll see. One of those 2 colors probably. Or green. To do green though, I have to go out and buy green because I don't have a nice bright green to do the border with. And I'm still trying to decrease my stash, so we'll see. Anyway, that's a long story. That is the first. It deserved it though. This poor thing has been sitting around for so long. Well, 12 months from the first January square. I did not put them in order by month. I just tried to put them in order by color and size. I'll pop up a picture of my Excel spreadsheet where I actually was having to work out the sizes and just show you what I'm going through on that, just for fun. Okay, the next whip is pretty old as well. Funny, this is another one with Judy's Creations in Crochet. She did a summer cowl last year, crochet along, where she gave us 6 stitches and then we could do whatever we want. She did like 6 stitch tutorials and then we could make whatever we want with it. And of course that ended, I don't know, last August or something like that. And I missed the deadline and then this just got put away. I was making squares. I think I started with 2 squares of each stitch and then decided I needed more than that to make a blanket. So I've increased the number of squares. I just picked the stitches I like the best. But these are beautiful stitches. And I feel bad having this sit around for so long. But to be totally honest, the colors are just not my colors. This is really bright. This is going to be a very bright blanket. And so I kind of just, once I missed that deadline, I just kind of put it aside. But I do want to finish it still because I don't want to waste all that beautiful work. And so that's another whip. I am almost actually done. I think I have like 2 more squares to do in green. And then I will have enough squares to do the size. I think I wanted to do it like a lapcan size. Either that or Boggy Creek size. A smallish blanket. I'll be ready to join them. And another decision. What color should I join these with? I don't want to use one of these colors. I was thinking white, and then I was thinking like a forest green. I don't want to really use one of the neutrals, like a gray, although a taupe or like a light beige might be okay. Tell me what you think, you color people. What would you join this with? I'm totally up for suggestions because I'm probably gonna have to buy yarn for that. And that's okay. Sometimes you just gotta do it. Okay, and next. So these are not whips that, require a lot of work still, at least so far. This is a cute little bag that I won from the Disley sisters. They have a channel. They are in the UK. Oh, there it is. Handmade by Disley Sisters Creations in England. And I won this cute little butterfly bag. Actually, I think they're dragonflies. I don't know, what is that? Is that a butter? It looks like a bee. I think they're bees. Anyway. And then there's a butterfly pin on it, I think, somewhere there. Yeah. And it's just so cute. And it fits so much. It's just like a little wrist bag that you're supposed to be able to carry your yarn with if you go somewhere and work on a project. But I use it as a project bag because you can stuff it. So there's that. Anyway, I love that little bag. Next, we have another oldie. I've actually considered frogging this several times and just haven't gotten around to either frogging or finishing. This is a teddy bear, believe it or not. I think, okay, this is why I haven't worked on it, because this is all I have is the head. And it doesn't look like much so far, but I was just gonna make a white and gray teddy bear in a really cute teddy bear pattern that I have, that I've made before. I need to finish this. They are really cute. Yeah, I will. I even wrote down the hook size there and everything, so no excuses. It's a pattern by Amy Saigon called Amigurumi Teddy Bear Crochet Pattern. It's really cute and really easy. What else? What's in this big bag? I got this for like $5 at Hobby Lobby, and it is huge. And I use it as a project bag. Yes, it's the letter Y, which is not in either of my names, first or last. I thought Y for yes, but now I'm thinking Y for yarn, right? Anyway, it's just a canvas, really sturdy bag. It was one of those 75% off aisles or something. Hobby Lobby honestly has the greatest sales. So these are, can you guess? Granny squares. I think I need more still. But all manner of scrap granny squares. Now, granted, this kind of project is meant to sit around. Isn't that pretty? Christmas yarns. This kind of project is meant to sit around for a while because you're using scraps. And you use up your scraps and then you have to wait till you have more. And yeah. So I was just learning granny squares when I started this. So I was just pulling up any old pattern that I liked and making it. None of these have been blocked, but they all, oh, I love that one. They all pretty much lay very nicely, if I don't say so myself. Okay, so another whip that I'm not super stressed about because, again, it was probably waiting on me to accumulate more acrylic scraps, which I do have now. So yeah, that's ready to be worked on. And that is why I should not be starting more new projects. But have I kept to that self-imposed rule? No. Isn't that pretty? Peach and green and cream. I was gonna keep to it. And then I thought, it's my craft table. Why am I imposing these rules on myself when I really, really want to start this new pair of socks or new amigurumi, and I'm looking at months worth of whips before I can even touch it? And I'm thinking, why? I'm not under any deadline from anybody outside of this house. So I said, I'm gonna just do what I want to do. I'm the boss of this craft table. Let me drop some squares. So anyway, well, that's a pretty one too. I did start a few new projects, and that's why things like this continue to sit. But I got a couple things out of my system, and those are a couple whips I'll show you. And I think I'll be ready to go back and work on the old stuff. And speaking of socks, so I showed you, I think a little while back, I made a pair of socks with yarn I got from Robin at Sasquatch Yarns. And I got 2 full hanks of this superwash merino, 75% superwash, 25% nylon sock yarn, fingering. And so it was, 437 yards on each skein or each hank. That's way more than enough to make one pair of socks. So I made my pair of socks, and I love them. I'm wearing them to death. Every time they are clean, I wear them. So, in fact, they just finished drying. So they're ready to wear again. Anyway, so I got busy, and I decided to make one the opposite of the pair I already made. Just, switching around the toe and the main part. So it's this beautiful green and multi, and I'm doing them at the same time, thinking that way I would keep them, same tension and everything. Hopefully come out the same size. And then I sabotaged myself. I noticed that my prim hook, which I was using for the first one, was catching a lot on this yarn. I don't know why, maybe because it's just got a real sharp tip, but it wasn't huge, but I can notice the little places that it snagged a little bit. And I thought, man, I haven't even worn these. They're starting to look worn. So I switched hooks to a generic aluminum, which is just gliding across this so much better, and the tip is rounder, so it's not getting caught up. And it's the same size hook, but if you switch brands of hooks, that little difference can still make a difference. And it did. This second one is just slightly narrower than this one. And when I had done the same number of rows, which is 35 rows, which I did on this, it was still smaller. So I had to actually do an extra row of green on this one to get them about the same size. So one is going to fit snugger on my feet than the other. But I'm pretty sure that my feet are not exactly the same size. So maybe I'll figure out which one's bigger, and then I'll wear that sock on that foot all the time. But yeah, you can see this one's just a little bit wider. Crazy. I will learn. Maybe by my 10th pair of socks, I will be a whiz at this. And maybe I will soon learn to knit, which is also on my list. so I can make knit socks, because I love my crochet socks and they're perfect for sleeping in, which is what I wear them for. And these can even be put in a shoe. I actually put a pair of shoes on over the other pair the other day and they were fine. The knit socks seem like you get a lot more variety in patterns, and I don't know, people seem like they whip them up so fast, or maybe I'm just slow, I don't know. Anyway, I want to learn to knit too for socks. So that's a whip. That is a very current whip because that's one of the projects that I was not supposed to start, but I love my socks so much. I wanted another pair and I had the yarn there. And it's so easy to make socks because it's all single crochet. And you get on these, you know, sections where all you're doing is working in around single crochet. You can put a movie on or a show and, you know, no stress, no pressure, no constant counting. I mean, you are counting, but not crazy counting like that shawl I finished. Isn't this a pretty project bag? I love this one too. That was another win. I love to win project bags. This is just adorable. And I thought it was small, but you know, it's perfect for a pair of socks. And it has a wonderful drawstring that there's nothing to hold it closed, but I guess because it's the cord, it stays closed when you cinch it. Really nice. And just makes me happy, those colors. I think I'm gonna have to make something in that colorway. Yellow, brown, and green. Beautiful. Okay. Next, let's see what's in here. I don't even remember what's in here. Oh, my color block, Granny. I have, how many? 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, that's almost finished. So 3 more granny square blankets to be joined. Crazy. So these are my color block squares. These are all done as well. This is ready to be joined. Oh, this will be fun to join. There's all these different colors. I have no idea what color I'm gonna use to join them. Probably white. A neutral for sure. I have a lot of Pound of Love in that light ivory color. I might use that just because I have it. So that's a whip. This is also a great project bag. It's one of those round canister size. I found it at Meijer. They still have them too. For some reason it was on sale at that time. And every time I look at them now, they're not on sale. And regular is like, I don't know, 30 bucks or something. But on sale it was like $20, I want to say, $19.99. But it's nice. It's got the little pocket on the side, and then it's got the little holes to bring your yarn through. I've used this like to take it when we're driving in the car and I want to crochet. But I hate that these whips are taking up these spaces in these great project bags. Need to start working. This is an old project. This is a bag I found at Goodwill. Isn't that cute? It's just a fabric. I think it's made to be crossbody. It's got a huge handle and a magnet, a very good magnet clasp. Anyway, oh, this has been finished for ages. It's a little dress for a doll, but I wanted to make a slip because the pattern is pretty holey and I thought it was too see-through. Isn't that pretty? It's like a Christmas dress. It's a Bag O' Day pattern. I think she made it for her daughter when she was a baby. I added the ribbon because it came out kind of wide for the 18-inch doll that I was making it for. But I made it a pair of panties because, again, because it was kind of see-through. But these are in a, I didn't have enough of the darker red, so I finished with the lighter red, and you can tell, but they're panties, so they're not going to be seen entirely. And then I made 2 little shoes. They're Mary Jane's. They're so cute. Anyway, so this, all I want to do is make a simple white slip on my sewing machine. I have a pattern, I have the fabric, I just have to do it. And I had my sewing machine out to get some mending done, and I put it away. But it's still under the table, so it hasn't gone back to the closet. I need to just take it out and do this. I think I'm a little bit intimidated to do a pattern, even though it looks like the easiest thing to make. I get a little intimidated by sewing. I'm not that great a seamstress. Straight lines, okay, but anything else, I don't have that much experience. Okay, I have one more. Well, this isn't really a whip, but something I have had with my whips forever because I have wanted to make a project bag. And I keep finding great project bags and I don't make the one that I want to make. But again, I found a tutorial on YouTube that looks so easy. And these were remnants that I picked up at Hobby Lobby in their clearance section. Isn't this the cutest yarn? Look at that, or yarn, fabric. It's got owls and I think those are, what are those? Hedgehogs? Or some kind of rodent. Turtles, birds, rabbits, mushrooms. It's just snails. It's just the cutest fabric. And then this for the inside. So I just have to do it. So I keep looking at this fabric. I love to look at it, but last but not least, losing my voice, is another newer whip that I just couldn't resist. This is one of my new favorite channels to watch when I just want something soothing and calm, totally drama-free. It's called Crochet Object Knitting. And she's a wonderful crocheter and knitter in Israel. And she does a wonderful job on her vlogs. Just great editing and shots from every angle you could think about. She doesn't only talk about crochet, she talks about cooking and cleaning, just keeping house for her and her 2 sons and her husband. But she does crochet patterns and has an Etsy shop. And isn't this the cutest thing? It's called Chunky Benji. And she says it's one of her most popular crochet patterns. And she's made several of them. So she keeps them, you know, they're always around somewhere in her videos. Sitting there looking so cute. And every time I saw one, I thought, I gotta get that pattern. And so I bought it. And I have started my own. Now, I wanted to use some scrap yarn, or not scrap yarn, but stash yarn. So I grabbed this. Here is my Mrs. Chunky Benji. And she just is waiting on her arms and one more leg. And she is multicolored because I am using this Karen latte cake. And I have wanted to use this for the longest time, ever since I think I got it in a mystery box from Crystal at Bag O' Day. And I had never used a latte cake, and she has gone on and on about latte cakes. They're like one of her favorite yarns. And I'm not typically into this type of yarn with a lot of, I guess they call it halo, but there's just tons of little hairs coming out of it. Now the nice thing is they don't fly off. You're not seeing, I don't know how they're tied in there, but they're secure. Even crocheting with it, I don't end up with little hairs all over myself at all. So this is amazing yarn. My only complaint about it is it's slippery. It's more slippery than Karen's Simply Soft, if you can think of that. I don't know if it's the little hairs that make it so slippery, but you really have to hold on to your project because I keep dropping her. She just slides very easily. But given that she's going to be so squishy and wonderful to hug, this pattern is so unique too, because you don't stuff her like you stuff a typical amigurumi. You purposely leave it very empty so that she can sit on her legs comfortably. and she's so huggable that way too. You typically think, oh, more stuffing, better hugs, but not really. Especially when she gets her arms. I think I'm going to be constantly picking her up. I don't plan to give her away to anybody, but you never know. You could end up seeing her on my Etsy shop. She's in danger in my house because I have 2 big dogs. And when we first got them, they were rescues and they were kind of bored, well, especially one of them, and was just crazy about tearing up the furniture. So we started buying them toys, and they love toys, but they tear them up. They just can't wait to pull the stuffing out of them. And so anything I make with a face on it, I'm like hiding because I don't want them to get a hold of it and undo my work in about 5 minutes. I have a favorite rag doll that has to live in my closet because that's the only place they never go. And so she's safe in there. She guards my clothes. I just say hello to her whenever I'm getting new clothes out. But so if I keep Mrs. Chunky Benji, I don't know. I don't think I can keep her on my desk. I think my dog's going to see her from the bed and be disturbed that he cannot get to her. And I hate to keep her in the closet. She seems, I think she deserves better than that. So she will probably go to a new home. But we'll see. We'll see. I'm enjoying making her. And I'll probably make another because this is fun. And it's an easy pattern. It's all, single crochet. And this I'd never done before. The legs, she leaves a hole for the leg, and then you come back and you crochet the leg starting here. So it's already attached to the body. So it's kind of cool because probably the worst part of doing amigurumi is sewing on the pieces when you're done. And same thing with the arms. She leaves a hole for the arms. So I'm sure we're just going to start there and crochet out. And the only separate piece you make, well, the ears too, but that was just a circle. And then the nose was separate. Both the nose and the ears are sewn on separately. Now the nice thing about this yarn is you're not seeing any of my stitches from sewing anything on because those little hairs are very forgiving and they just kind of, everything blends in very nicely. The eyes were a little bit of a challenge to get on. I used 100% cotton, like a stiff, I forget who it was. It was Oh, Crafter's Secret from Hobby Lobby. So it's a nice stiff yarn. It's not quite as stiff as Lily and Sugar and Cream, but just a little bit less. And it doesn't get fuzzy like the black acrylic that I was going to use. So I use that for the nose and the eyes. So I figured she's got enough fuzzy going on. She doesn't need her nose and eyes being fuzzy as well. Okay, that is all my whips. It's enough, right? I will get busy. I think I'm going back to my Judy's Mal bird blanket to finish that off. I just have like 2 seams and the border and I'm done. So, or I'll go back to this little girl and make her arms and leg and finish her. Yeah. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give me a thumbs up and a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd like to be do this regularly, like once a week. So it's a goal. We'll see how I do. See you later.